Hello and welcome to a special episode of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together each week to have a chat about all things geek. Now, the reason this is such a special episode is because today in the UK is Ghostbusters Afterlife Day, and all three of your geeks have been to see the first showing that we could this morning. Now, gentlemen, we have just been to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm not going to ask you what you thought of the film, and we're not going to do any spoilers just yet. We will do some spoilers later on in this.
We'll warn you.
We will give you plenty of warning.
It'll say spoilers in big letters like that, and it'll flash, and then it'll go across the screen and back across, and then it'll fade out with some clips of Ghostbusters that Rich is going to animate.
Like the Ecto One siren.
What we'll do instead is try and tell you whether we think this movie's worth going to see.
Is this movie worth going to see?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Lummy, is this movie worth going to see?
I would say, hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah.
Okay. So how are you feeling, Lummy, having come out of that film?
I'm a bit, what's the word? A bit like that was what we've all been waiting for all this time.
Yeah. I feel vindicated, and I'll tell you why, right? Recently, I've had a spate of watching movies where I thought I was going crazy because everyone else was liking them, and I'm not liking them. I'm thinking, what's going on? This is a perfect example of how you can use CGI and blend it and light it so it looks like a film, and you don't feel like you're stuck in a green screen for the entire thing. So I feel vindicated. I feel much like, it's not just me. They can do it.
Yeah.
They've paid so much care and attention in this movie to lighten it.
It's a love letter to the.
It is absolutely a love letter to the original and to Harold Ramis, completely, and it was stunning. And the casting of the children in this film was impeccable. I mean, McKenna Grace as Egon's granddaughter, as Phoebe. Holy cow! I mean, you turned around to me and went, "She's brilliant,"
She's brilliant.
And I was already thinking it. She is just exceptional.
I didn't realize how much of a tech wizard she'd be in it as well. You know,
that was so lovely though. With obviously not getting into too many spoilers, but obviously the absence of Egon and having that character there without shoehorning it in, she just happens to have his natural affinity for physics, science, understanding.
There were a load of extra characters in this film that when we were looking at the trailers, I thought, how are these guys going to be shoehorned into this? Is it going to detract from the kind of feeling of the original Ghostbusters? Yeah. And it was just perfect. It was perfect.
Did you get goosebumps with the music? Did you get goosebumps when the music started? I did. You know when it started?
Yeah.
As soon as it started, I thought this is going to be awesome. Loved it.
Brilliant. Amazing. And the little piano, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Ding, ding. That was
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh God. So are you pleased you went to see it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Lummy, you please, because I don't like going to the cinema. There was only 3 of us in our screening.
Yeah. Same with me. I think there was 7 in mine. 7 people.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, they nailed it, man. Absolutely nailed it.
I'd like to see it with a full audience as well. I'm going to go again tomorrow night.
So. I'm not bothered about that.
Actually, I was 10 minutes in and I was like, I'm loving this, but I already can't wait to have this on DVD or have it on a streaming platform to watch it
exactly.
I
can't wait to watch it again. I was thinking I want to watch it straight away.
Yeah, same.
I looked around, there was one guy in the cinema with us, man. We had the whole place to ourselves. It was
the only time that's happened for me was Robin Williams and Billy Crystal film called Father's Day. Don't you remember that one? Shit film, but I was the only person in the cinema.
Wow.
Well, we came out of it, and I turned around to the guy who was in there. I was like, "What do you think?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was really good." We ended up having a little chat. And then he started telling us all about the Ghostbusters Hellborn.
Yeah. So it was the original Ghostbusters 3 that kind of had been trying to get into production for a long time. And and we can maybe talk about a little bit like that, how we related that to this film, maybe when we get into a spoilery section, because it does give a little bit away. Have you got any thoughts about the film that aren't spoilery at this stage?
I do. Right, I'll tell you what I loved. The pacing. Yeah, the pacing was spot on. And how it built, you know, finding the little bits of nostalgia in there, and you know, the worked out how to kind of drip feed a little bit of the, the discovering what the equipment does and all that, and perfect. Perfect.
You know what? It hit the beats of the first film as well, but in a totally different way, totally different approach. It had that same sort of, like you say, trickling the knowledge through to you.
I'm interested in timing how similar the appearances of Slimer in Ghostbusters 84 and Muncher in Afterlife were. So I've got a feeling they're probably within about 2 or 3 minutes of each other.
And in a weird way, they felt the same but different, didn't they? You know, that exploration of a building and discovering a ghost in there. Well, we're treading kind of into spoiler territory. But unspoilery things to say. The cast were wonderful. The script was great, man. Brilliant. Really, really great.
And do you know the best thing of all? They weren't any forced gags or anything. They're all realistic.
There were, but that was part of the mechanism.
That was really, really clever.
The fact that she had all of
the What I mean is, obviously, there's no fucking fart jokes. They're all like that,
It was like exactly the opposite experience to Home Sweet Home Alone, wasn't it?
Even the ghosts that chose to use and make a feature of in this, they weren't cheesy, they weren't silly, they were just pitched really well.
But it was also the blend of, it was exactly what we talked about when we talked about Ghostbusters before, was that the blend of ghosts that they had, so they had some similar style ghosts to the original 2 films, but also then there was the guy in the diner who was more of a skeletal zombie guy, exactly the same as the taxi driver in the first one. It was just perfect. Absolutely perfect.
It was cool, even with the light trails flying about, showing the different souls and stuff, and it all just looked really, really cool.
But it's like they've used all of the same effects from the 1984, and it feels like they haven't even updated them a huge amount. They're just very faithful portrayals of what we've already seen.
Perfected versions of that. What else was I going to say? I really liked how they recast the Ghostbusters in a way. So clearly you've got a new Spengler, but then the friends that they meet along the way are sort of falling into these roles of the other Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was really cool. Again, I don't want to say too much, too spoiler, but I tell you what else I really liked, how much of this film was set in daylight. In pure daylight, and then messing around with the traps and figuring out the equipment in the daylight. You get to see so much. There's no dark corners. Everything's really like lit. It was cool.
Yeah, it's like they left no stone unturned. I wasn't left wanting more or wanting any answers that they didn't give me. And every question that I had, you said this on the way out of the cinema, actually, that you felt like they answered it almost instantaneously and faithfully as well. Nothing was shoehorned in.
Every tiny little scene, it seemed like they'd sat down with a group of guys like us and said, would this work? Do you think this is good? And we would have been, give me more.
The whole thing was fun as well. I've got to say that. They didn't really. You watch this stuff sometimes, and it's a chore. Like I know we talk about Home Alone, but it was a fucking chore to get through that thing. Even to review it, it was like, oh my god, when is this going to end? So
about 15 minutes into this film, I had this real internal quandary going on, because part of me was like, just feed this film into my eyes and ears now. I want to experience all of this film now. I want to know what happens, just everything. I just want to digest this film. And then another part of me was like, I just really want to experience this film and let it all unfold in front of me.
I'm looking forward to rewatching it, because I had to go for a wee after a wee break, man. So I've missed about 3.5 minutes. I think I timed it well. I can't wait. It's not often I sit there watching a film wishing I could watch it again while I'm actually watching it. It's so weird. Can't wait to pick it up on Blu-ray.
Well, look, guys, I think we can get onto a spoiler section now. But for anybody who's going to leave the show at this point now to go and watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, please stay and watch right until the very end, because it's not just one end credit. There's 2 end credits.
Watch the credits. There's some cool stuff going on.
Keep an eye on that, because that's more information and it kind of completes the story as well. Is there anything you want to say before we get into some spoiler stuff, Lummy?
Go see it.
Don't be afraid of no ghosts.
Film of the year. Film of every year. This
definitely.
Did not disappoint, which is unusual for a bunch of jaded dickheads like us.
Well, any friends of the show who have been faithfully watching the show will know how easy it is to disappoint us.
And one thing in a movie can throw you off, and they just nailed it, man. Absolutely, yeah. Perfect.
Okay, well, let's get on to the spoiler section, because there was one thing in this film that did
Spoilers.
almost throw me off. So, spoilers.
Can I ask you guys, was there anything at all that you thought,
Yeah, but it was at the end.
Okay.
It was at the end. Well, almost halfway through and at the end.
Okay, I'll tell you some positives. Contextually speaking, for me, the little marshmallow man scene worked a treat.
I was so
Absolutely
relieved.
worked.
I was so relieved because anybody
Lummy was right about that.
Yeah.
He called that. He
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, but they'll do this and they'll do." And you're right, with the music there and the full context of the scene, it was brilliant. The only thing I regretted was I knew from that point on, once Paul Rudd's character's out, we weren't going to see much of Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's now.
Okay, let's talk about the casting of Paul Rudd in this. I think it was absolutely exceptional.
He's so lucky.
He's playing the Rick Moranis style
God.
character. Obviously, he's playing the Keymaster style character.
Just have that fall in your lap, man. And to be Paul Rudd for 5 minutes and that shit just falling. He deserves it. He's a lovely guy, and he really.
But it was brilliant casting because there were so many. You'd never say that Paul Rudd and Rick Moranis are anything alike, but actually, those two characters and the way Paul Rudd played it, there were so many crossovers and so many sort of tilts.
It was cool. It was really good in it. They all were though. The cast was great. All of them.
Yeah.
There was nobody where you thought, fuck, that was a bit.
Well, you were going to talk about podcast and the fact that he is.
That is one of those characters that could have gone completely badly, right? There's a character who makes podcasts. That's what they do, and the joke was a bit thin. However, the way they used it, and the way this guy, you started to notice that this kid is clearly a kindred spirit of Ray Stans.
Yeah.
The way he looks at things, the way he messes about with things, the way when they saw the dates on the wall of the temple,
he was able to relay the important...
recall the occult facts from the back of his mind. And that's what made me think, they're setting up a new Ghostbusters thing. You know, you got the science geek, you've got the lovable chubby guy. You know, the only one I did think let down, if that's the way was a bit of a letdown, if that's the way they're going, is there was no clear replacement for Venkman. I think it's supposed to be Finn Wolfhard, the kid, but he wasn't funny. He wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but he didn't have any jokes. He didn't really have much screen time.
No, I actually thought he was great in it.
I think they should have made him a little bit more acerbic to clearly mark it out as Peter Venkman's
I get that,
character.
and I think that might come in a later character arc if they do then go on and do another sequel to this, which I think we're probably left with that final end credit season.
And also, he's a 15-year-old kid, isn't he? So to have that confidence that Bill Murray has in that film, that's part of the fun. That's what makes him funny. Is he just doesn't, So that takes a little while to develop that aspect of your personality. I would imagine.
McKenna Grace her character was just impeccable. I just haven't seen a child performance like that in a long time. All the way through, I'm just like, I'm in awe.
I recognised her from something, but
I mean, if that hadn't worked as well, that character, that it'd have been dead in the water, and it did.
Yeah. And she actually shouldered the majority of this film. Her and Podcast, carried most of them on their shoulders, and they were just.
And she had that
phenomenal
deadpan delivery of Egon when Egon tells a joke. She nailed it. It's like she not only studied the character, but she paid attention to it.
It's like it was her granddad in real life.
Unbelievable.
Did you get close to the beginning that Paul Rudd that Gary was going to end up being the Keymaster and their mum was going to be the gatekeeper?
Well, one thing I was going to say is, I tell you what, I wish that they kept some of the stuff out of the trailers. Because
it's the bit where Vince Clortho comes out of the Walmart chasing Paul Rudd, chasing Gary. It was at that point I thought he's probably going to end up being the key master.
Well, you know that from the trailers. You know
yeah,
from the trailers.
Enough in the trailer. I'm gonna. I don't know if you guys remember, but Lummy called that ages ago. I
don't remember.
Yeah, he said that, and the mum's going to be Dana, and and you were right. Okay. You were right.
I just sometimes these trailers give too much away, and I think there was too much in these trailers after watching the film. I wish they kept loads. I know they've got to.
I didn't see the third one that you guys watched because I'm assuming that's where you saw Egon walking at the beginning of the film.
No. You didn't really see
But no,
You
but
saw Egon in his van and running to the house. You knew it.
Right. Okay. So I'm really glad that I didn't see, because that would have spoiled the start. Whereas that was the perfect start to a film.
So
and I was
right,
like,
yeah,
I actually thought that was a point where, okay, if that's all we see from Egon and the other Ghostbusters, I'm happy with that, because the stunt guy, the stand-in for Egon, you saw just enough of him, and it was just tasteful enough that you're like, yeah, okay, that is older Egon, that's fine. The way they handled it, and the way then when Vince Clortho got him, and the or Gozer was all got him at the beginning in the armchair, and then he disappears, see his spirit go, and then you just see the ectometer just light up, and you're like, he's come back as a ghost. That is so perfect. It's beautiful. It's tasteful. It's classic.
So they didn't need to give you any of that. That opening scene, I'm thinking, well, that's a stuntman that looks a little bit like Harold Ramis. That's good enough, man. That's fine. So massive spoilers. By the end of it, where they actually revealed him as a ghost, I mean, if he hadn't looked so spot on, I don't think it would have had the effect. But I can't see how they put that together without him being alive.
Yeah, I'm glad as well he didn't say,
stunning CGI.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad,
because I thought, they're gonna have him speak here, but then I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they made that choice not to.
And it was so sweet watching the Ghostbusters apologise to him, and because you find out a little bit of what happened between Ghostbusters 2 and this Ghostbusters, and things haven't gone well. They're not friends anymore. It's quite sad.
Which again, that's an interesting choice as well that they made. When he said that on phone, when Ray were on phone, he went, "Oh, he can rot in hell." I thought, "Oh shit, how they're gonna?"
Can we just address something here? That every time Dan Aykroyd was on screen, and this is the thing that nearly spoilt it for me, I thought he sucked in this film.
Really?
Yeah, really struggled. I struggled with him in the bookshop on the phone, just really hammy. And I struggled with the first appearance of the Ghostbusters in this film. And I thought the script was a bit clunky. I thought their performance was a bit clunky. And it was saved by the little monologue that Venkman gives to Gozer, which was really funny. And then it was saved from that point, and then everything was fine. But it was in that little kind of 2 minutes.
You know what's
interesting? I thought, oh God, this is going to suck at this point.
You know what's interesting? I'm not as it didn't rattle me as much. I knew it was coming, and it wasn't. It didn't blow me away seeing the Ghostbusters as much as I thought it was going to do. No. But what I found interesting is the thing I thought I wanted from this film was that, if they'd have left it out, it would have been a fucking amazing film.
Yeah.
They didn't have to put them back in and show them as all those wrinkly old farts. It was a little bit more unbelievable. But as soon as he started talking, I was like, yeah, I'm there. I know what you mean about Dan Aykroyd. I felt like, especially on the phone scene, he was phoning it in a bit. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit
literally. No. Yeah. I mean, for me, I didn't really get that. I was just all in. Honestly, if I were a betting person, all my chips would have been in for the whole thing. Maybe the appearance at the end where they stepped in. I'm a bit of one of them people where, if people just appear out of nowhere, I'm a bit like, how the fuck did they get there without anybody? Maybe I'd love, even if they'd have done something as daft as have the Ecto 1A in and the roll up in that, I'd just gone, that's fine. But the fact that we're just there in the suits and a little bit, if we're getting into little niggles about it, right?
With the 4 suits in the basement, and they're wearing the 4 suits.
No. I assumed they were spare Spengler suits.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, but where did they get their suit? Because earlier on they said.
Ray said he took all our stuff.
Yeah, all the gear, all the proton packs and everything, and they turned up with a proton pack each, and which, for artistic license, you think we want the Ghostbusters back in the full suits, and you could argue why Spengler in his Ghostbusters outfit as a ghost. You could argue that as well, but
Well, I mean, it was nice, really nice to see.
Yeah, it was. So that far outweighs the.
That was the one bit where they nearly pushed it too far, but they reined it back in just before I got annoyed with it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a little monologue. Venkman when Gozer knocks him out of the way against the car, Venkman gives his little funny monologue to her. It completely redeemed their appearance at that point.
Yeah,
and then it was just the point where you've got Phoebe holding on to the proton pack and she's shaking.
Oh, that was good.
And that is when That's when my eyes started watering. That's when I had some onion chopping ninjas behind me in the cinema, and I felt Webby look at me as that was happening.
I
I
turned around and I was like, "Look at this!"
But I didn't know that. I didn't look at him. I was just focused on the thing, and I felt him look at me, and I thought I heard him go. And I was like, fuck you.
I don't care. I'm not ashamed to admit when I cry at a movie, but I didn't cry at this movie. I fucking sobbed at this movie. I actually sobbed when they revealed that Spengler was back and they were gonna do it all together. It was just like, and then he disappeared, and it was just the saddest, most beautiful, touching tribute to Harold Ramis. I feel myself going again.
Yeah.
It was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. They nailed that. I can't believe they didn't dig his corpse up and 3D scan him or something.
It was incredible. And it was just at that moment where he's holding on to the pack, and then the other 3 Ghostbusters are shooting Gozer as well. And then you just see Winston look at him and be like, and that was toned perfect.
And the one thing that really pushed me over the edge was after it had all been said and done, and it just said for Harold, and the film hadn't finished, and they put that up in the middle of the film for Harold, and I was just like,
right. So it was at that point. So I didn't know he was crying, because I was already crying. I thought he was making fun of me, and it was at that point when he said for Harold, I just heard next to me.
Brilliant. Honestly, I've never cried at a film like that. It was wonderful. I can't wait to see it again.
All right, let's talk credit sequences. What did you think of the Dana and...
Now, this is where I made a mistake. So I saw the first one, which I really I loved the bit with Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray.
And I love the choice of... They could have tried to explain some plot exposition, all right, but they didn't. They just had a little tiny snippet scene.
That was perfect. Great. That was perfect. And then I went to the toilet because all the lights came up in the cinema.
Oh, no.
Chatting to the guys outside, to the ushers about how awesome the film was. And then I was looking, where the hell is Webby? And I thought, let's go see if he's sat in the cinema still. And I went in, and there's this other end sequence, and I'm seeing Winston and
Janine.
Janine sat there chatting. So I missed the very start of that conversation.
Now, this is where I get a bit worried. I'm not going to lie to you, right? I didn't realise that this wasn't just a remake or a sequel or a reboot. It's the start of a new franchise. Clearly, now we know Winston's character has got all this money. He could fund the Ghostbusters. He's going to clean it up. He's bought the firehouse. You know what I mean? And I thought, oh, wait up, here we go. This is where it all goes tits up. And I really, honestly, wanted to just say, leave it, man. Leave it where it is. You don't push it.
Whereas I'm completely different. I was like, brilliant. I want more of this stuff. But to be honest, if it's just for kids and it's done with exactly the same tone as that film's just been done, I'll be very, very happy with Ghostbusters going forwards. I thought the casting those kids were great. I thought the whole thing was brilliant. And if they have maybe little cameos with the original Ghostbusters in it, totally fine. But I'm really happy if those kids just sort of carry the torch.
I mean, I don't know, because they're so young, those kids, I don't know how they would do another sequel with them in the firehouse.
5 years before a movie comes out.
Yeah.
So she'll be 17, he'll be 19, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
If they just decide that it starts and they've left the mum at
so
home.
It's going to be. So you mean? I mean, so it could be Winston and them basically.
Well, think about it. Spengler's granddaughter will want to go to the same university her grandfather went to. Yeah. So there's your link straight away.
Well, he's gone back to the firehouse. We've seen the firehouse. We've seen Ecto 1 turn up at the firehouse as well. The thing I was thinking about, Lummy, and I think it was you that mentioned it from the comics or from the real Ghostbusters, where they had an international Ghostbusters.
The original idea for Ghostbusters, at the end of the script, the original script, Winston was in a head office like he was there, and they had Ghostbusters International. It was all over the world.
So, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, even showing the ghost trap in the basement.
Containment unit. That was an interesting thing to show, because you think, well, what could possibly happen there?
I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine if they don't do anything. Although I will be waiting around for ages going, is there another are they going to do another Ghostbusters film? But if they decide not to, and they just want to leave us all waiting, and
I reckon they'll do.
Well, if you're worried about the age of the girl, right? Let's say they wait 5 minutes and she's 17 in the next 5 years, and she's 17 in the next movie. She's the kind of kid that will get into college early because she's fucking super smart. You could even make a joke out of that she's a bit on her own because she's younger than everybody. You know, but yeah, I'm. If they could do what they did for this film, great. But I'm not. I'm fine with it now.
You've kind of got the closure from the originals there. You know, everybody always wanted that thing with it. What happened next? You know, Ghostbusters 2 finished, and you were like, well, what happened to the Ghostbusting stuff? Did it close down, or did it?
You know, we got explanations for all that. It was really cool. And if Winston buys all that stuff back and repurposes it all, I think in the next movie, it's likely that you will see Winston as a main character. Daddy for the Ghostbusters. Bill Murray and Ray. I think they're done. I think they've gone right. Which of you is interested in keeping this going, and who of you wants to retire from it?
Yeah.
Because Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd have been pulling away from this for a
No, you're wrong. Dan Aykroyd has an investment.
Bill Murray has. Bill Murray has everything he does.
Bill Murray, I think he's had his closure on it now. I think he's done his thing and gone. That was it.
They got him. They're lucky they got him to do that, to be Bankman again. I would.
It's really interesting.
Ghostbusters. I would have loved him still to do that scene with Dana at the end in the credits. Even if he hadn't showed up to fight the ghosts.
Yeah.
If they just had that would have been a nice little. Yeah. You know.
Is there anything you'd have done different, or after watching the film? Is there anything where you thought I was waiting for the choose a travel a bit? I honestly can't.
See, I was waiting for.
I thought they were gonna kill off the Gozer, and then the voice were gonna come. I thought they were gonna do another one of them where they went choose, and they all looked at Ray and went no.
That was the best. That was the best bit where he said to, "Are you a god?" And in the first film, he goes, "Next time somebody asks you, yes," and he did straight away, and it kind of put that joke up. It was fucking brilliant.
So I had the theory that they were gonna do, Ray, and then you were going to hear this walking, and you would look up, and it was going to be a giant Egon. So I'm really glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's the softest thing that would never hurt us, and there's a giant Egon. I would have hated that. So I'm so glad they didn't do anything like that. I just
and also you can't top the giant marshmallow man. So how would you? It was interesting that they didn't have something like that, because in the first film that was the whole end battle, wasn't it? You know. And they went across the stream straight away, didn't they?
Great, perfect.
That was
that was absolutely cool, because they were like, she's uncrossing the stream.
That was amazing. What about the music to the film? What do you think about that?
It was spot on. Loved it. It fit as well. There was a danger because it was the score from the 80s, pretty much. It wouldn't play, but I think it did. I think it worked really well.
The music when they first on their way to Somerville, the music that they played, clap, clap, clap.
I thought the score was really, really well done. They just reworked it a little bit, and there were new sequences and new bits, but it fit completely. And I also would argue that it wouldn't have felt anywhere near like a Ghostbusters movie without those little choices of snippets you took from the first ones. You needed it, and to hear it while they're going through, that figuring out the piano music that goes ding when they're figuring out the fountain. It's all got a spooky vibe. It just added to it. It was amazing.
I adored it. Honestly, that's the best cinema experience I think I've ever had. I just adored that film. I've been anticipating and waiting for this film. It's one of my favourite films ever, Ghostbusters.
I mean, honestly, I'm going to go.
It's just done it such service. I'm just delighted.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was perfect for me, and I don't need any more. I don't want any more. Don't ruin it now.
I don't think they'd have written this one in the way that they did and finished it in the way that they did if he did not feel like he had another Ghostbusters script up his sleeve.
Yeah, and there's it's not set in stone. The way the movie finished is the way the movie finished. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing, Gozer can come back, Pterodogs can come back. There could be another aspect to this mind. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, Ivo Shandor can't come back, but I guess we can have a chat about that between ourselves, Lummy.
That was brilliant, though. That was brilliant. Like he did come back in this movie, and then he didn't. Straight away. That's a spoiler I'm not going to give, but that was great.
The whole thing. I mean, I think they've done the Gozer thing now. They've done it twice. I think, go with something else. I mean, people do badmouth Ghostbusters too, but I liked that idea. I thought.
Why? I think the Carpathian was brilliant.
Do you know what? For me, it falls into that sequel trap. This is a sequel. This is a sequel. Here's a sequel. It's just it didn't work. It's not as good as the first one.
Well, no, it's not as good as the first one, but
that was lightning in the bottle. The first one, you're always up against it.
Look, Ghostbusters is not only got a special place in all our hearts. It is like one of the number one films in my psyche, in me. I love it. I love it so much, and I would say this one is equal to it, if not better than.
Yeah. All right, geek rating out of 5. What would you give it?
I'd give it 6 geeks out of 5.
6 geeks out of 5. What about you, Lummy?
I'd give it 7 out of 5.
I was gonna warn up.
Well, I don't feel like we should have a competition on this. It was just a really bloody good.
Just go watch. Honestly, it takes some beating, that film, and it's one of the best. Like you said, one of the best cinema experiences for a long time. For a long time.